I would like to welcome you to Earl's world, where projects are never ending. We're going to get into a project here that I believe if you were a senior, I would say 60 or more, you probably will want to be watching this particular video. I ran onto this problem in the last day or two, and I found out that my expertise with the computer was not sufficient enough to fix my problem. Well, I have a neighbor who is kind of a techie individual, and he came over and ran a diagnostic test on my computer. And I found out that the computer was only running at about 1/10 of the speed that I was paying for. By the way, I run all of my stuff through Xfinity. This isn't a complaint about Xfinity. It was merely that the modem that I had was not new enough to keep up with all of the advancements they've made over the last few years. And so he came over and ran a test, and I was supposed to be getting a speed of like 275, I believe they call them gigabytes, and I was actually only getting 12. So the computer was just failing in and of itself. So with that in mind, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we fixed that problem. Well, here we go. Again, I mentioned if you're a senior, I'm actually in my 80s. Many of you out there are. But we enjoy looking at YouTubes and things like that. But my YouTube channels, every time I would turn one on, I would get the video would be going along, and all of a sudden it would just stop. And then I would get that little arrow that goes around and around and around and around. And that would go on for several minutes. And I just didn't know how to fix that problem. So my friend came over, and after working on it a little bit, we called a number that we got from Xfinity, and this number was tech support for how to start up and boot your new modem. So anyway, I went over to Best Buy to get a modem that was compatible with Xfinity. Brought it home, got it all hooked up, realized that it didn't have a phone port. I'm from that old school. We still have a landline. I do have my cell phone, but my landline, we still like to have that line. Anyway, we didn't have a port to plug it into, so I packed it back up, went over to Best Buy again, purchased a second one. And when I got back, it had the phone port, but it didn't have a USB port, which I needed to plug in my printer. So I went back over to Best Buy, and I ended up getting the proper modem that I needed. So when I got back, I took this old modem over on my third try because they would be able to see exactly what ports I needed. This up here is my USB port. These are my phone ports, Ethernet, and power. So once I took this over and they saw all of the ports that I needed, then I was able to get the new modem and came back, hooked it up, everything worked. But then came the technical side of things, and I had to get my friend Scott over to help me with the technical issues. We got on the phone with Xfinity, and it took about 30 minutes actually for this all to come about. I was extremely grateful to have Scott here with me because not only am I not a techie individual, I also have a hearing problem. In my old age, I have hearing aids, but I find it very difficult to hear people when they're talking to me on a phone. So Scott was here to help me out, and we had to go and put down a lot of numbers that were listed on the modem itself. So I made myself a card with the numbers on it. These numbers are not necessarily the same numbers that you would have if you purchase a different modem. So the little instruction book that came with the modem told me I needed to write down all of these individual numbers. And these are numbers that Xfinity needed in order to activate this particular modem. Anyway, I got a little bit ahead of myself there, but the issue was that the information that we got from Xfinity was that my modem was outdated. I needed to get a new one, and if I wanted to do that, I could just tell them to go ahead and put me on a modem, and they would charge me $14 a month from now till infinity. When you think about this, I mean, if you had that modem for 5, 10 years, whatever the case may be, at $14 a month, in 10 years, you'd pay $1,400 for that modem, where I purchased this one for $180. So they will tell you that they don't sell the modems, but Best Buy, and I only say Best Buy because I have one near my home, were able to fix me up with a modem that was compatible with the Xfinity system. And so when you're out and about and thinking if you decide that you want to change modems, don't let them talk you into renting one. Go out and buy your own. For the price in 10 years, I could buy 5 new modems. With that in mind, money for seniors such as myself is an issue. Most of us are on a fixed income, and we need to watch that money carefully. So that is what the situation was, and I'll show you a picture of my new modem. Let me just switch here a minute. This is my new modem, and it's an Arris, ARRIS, and it has all of the necessary ports to be compatible with my Xfinity system and my in-home phone. So be careful when you go over and save yourself some trips. If you can disconnect the old one, take it with you, and that way they will know exactly what it is you need. So here we are. After spending about a half hour getting this all tuned up and ready so that I could work it, we were able to do so. The day before we got this running, we probably spent somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 hours diagnosing the problem. Hopefully you won't have to do that. If there isn't anyone in your neighborhood, you can go to Best Buy, and they have what they call the Geek Squad. And the Geek Squad are some young individuals who are very techy and know how to fix all of these issues. And so anyway, that's where this was. I was a little bit disappointed that I actually couldn't just buy a modem from Xfinity, but they won't sell them. They would rather rent them and charge you that $14 monthly fee. So everything is now up and running. It's working. I'm super happy. After getting it running, I probably watched 2 hours worth of videos. And not only did I watch one video, but I started 3 separate videos, and they were all running at the same time. And the modem was able to keep up with all 3 running at the same time. So that fixed my problem. There again, I don't know if any of you have this same issue. It's my guess that there are probably several thousands that might have this exact same issue. So if you do, you'll have to go to whomever your provider is, and they will give you whatever information is necessary to upgrade your modem and get you back and running. So anyway, I'm really happy to bring this to you because, to be very honest with you, I was suffering with this problem for a year or more. And so to say I'm grateful to Scott, I am. He helped me out tremendously. And that's where we're at this point. I hope that this was useful to you. And if you did find it useful, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I am new at this, and so I have a learning curve that I have to get better at, and that I'm going to try and do. I use YouTube all the time myself to be able to fix things that I was unaware of. And I hope you'll subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to actually seeing you again. Until then, till the next time, have a great day. This is Earl's World, where projects are never ending. Thank you.